War has been an unfortunately common topic of conversation lately. When we think of war, we often think about the amount of money being spent. A couple mil on a fancy helicopter, a cool billion on a super high-tech submarine, and a couple of grand here and there. However, we sometimes fail to consider that there are people out there making money on the war, and not just pocket change either. We're talking billions and billions of dollars a year off of war. Today, we're going to take a look at the 5 companies that profit the most from wars and see exactly what they're making to do just that. Number 5. General Dynamics Corporation. General Dynamics Corporation sounds a bit like a made-up company you'd tell someone you worked for in a panic. Yes, I'm John Smith and I work for General Dynamics Corporation. All jokes aside, General Dynamics Corp has made a hefty little profit on its wartime supplies. From 1952 until 1990, General Dynamics Corp created tanks, rockets, missiles, submarines, and warships for the United States government. After a little break in the 1990s, they've recently returned to their government contracts. Their arms and military sales reached a startling $22 billion in 2018 alone. That's a lot of money off of missiles and submarines. In 2018, they managed to reel in about $3.35 billion in profit. It seems government contracts come relatively easy to General Dynamics Corp. In 2014, they were given the most expensive shipbuilding contract in U.S. history, building $17.6 billion worth of submarines for the United States Navy. In 2018, the Navy came back for seconds, giving them $4.8 billion to build a DDG-51, a class of warship. That all being said, in 2018, 87% of their total sales were arms sales. The more arms to sell, the more money in their pockets. Number 4. Raytheon. Raytheon sounds a bit more like an arms company, or maybe even a Batman villain. Incorporated in 1922, Raytheon has quite a history in the United States wars and technological developments. In the 1940s, Raytheon created magnetron tubes that were used for radar defense in World War II ships. Then, in the 1960s, Raytheon helped create the computer that guided Apollo 11 on its mission to the moon. While all that was going on, Raytheon began to dabble in missiles, which is where a lot of its profit comes from to this very day. Serving nearly 80 countries, a wide range of cultures and governments depend on Raytheon's radar and ballistic systems to keep them informed and protected. Their profit for 2018 launched up to $2.88 billion, and their military sales hovered around the $23.44 billion range. 87% of their sales revolved around arms sales, and that only appears to be increasing as the year goes on. A merger with United Technologies is close on the horizon, which could mean even more profit for both companies. Number 3. Northrop Grumman Corp. Northrop Grumman Corporation is an aerospace company that's been creating fighter jets and other military planes since 1939. Back in 1948, Leroy Grumman even received the Presidential Medal of Merit for wartime production, which, well, you know, is a thing now. And they've been wartime producing ever since. Their profits for 2018 skyrocketed to $3.23 billion with arms, and military production that reached $26.19 billion. That means arms sales accounted for 87% of their total profit, a 14% increase compared to 2017. Chances are that will only be increasing. In 2018, they acquired Orbital ABK, a military tech and aviation company. Many people estimate that the company is preparing itself to produce military aircraft for the Space Force. Number 2. Boeing, a company name you're sure to recognize, although maybe not for the best reasons. The Boeing 737 aside, Boeing is a company that's been at the top of the aerospace, satellite, and tech business since it came to be 103 years ago. Though their profits for the fiscal year of 2018 are a bit low compared to the others on the list, coming in at only $19.64 billion. However, their arms and military service sales came out to be $29.15 billion. Though Boeing makes the majority of its money from commercial planes, just in case you forgot about the 737 MAX, they did make 29% of their revenue from defense contracts, and there was a 5.9% increase in arms sales from 2017 to 2018. It's hard to imagine the amount Boeing could and would be able to produce if they made a transition away from commercial airline sales. In 2018 alone, they delivered 806 commercial planes, which totals to a bit over 2 planes per day. Number 1. Lockheed Martin Corporation. We've finally reached the company that's profiting the most off war. In 2018, Lockheed Martin made $47.26 billion in arms and defense contracts. That's no small change. It makes them the largest military arms and defense provider by a huge margin. So large, in fact, that in 2018, 70% of their net sales were from contracts with the United States government. That's about $39 billion. If you want to put that into perspective, that's more than 6 times the budget of the Environmental Protection Agency's 2018 yearly budget, more than half of the Department of Education's 2018 budget, or the price of NASA and the Department of Agriculture's 2018 budget combined. In other words, that's a lot of money. So, what exactly does Lockheed Martin sell the government for that much? Well, they make a whole lot of fighter jets, missile defense systems, and sonar technology. They've also got the world record for the fastest aircraft ever created. So, there you have it, the 5 companies that are profiting the most off of war in the United States. What do you think about these companies, or the amount of money that even goes into war in the first place? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And as always, I'm Mr. Luxury. Pip pip to doodly doo.